Good evening out there. How you guys doing? This Mike. I'm back again with the Soberheadz Message of the day. Today, I'm gonna dig back into the Living Sober book. For those who don't know, the Living Sober book is a book that we use in the AA rooms, and the book basically goes through different situations on how to stay sober in those situations. um in sobriety, just everyday life and different techniques and different things we could use to try to stay sober in those situations. Yesterday we read the chapter on staying away from the first drink, and today we're going to talk about the 24-hour plan. The 24-hour plan of staying sober. The 24-hour plan. And what do you do during this 24-hour plan in order for you to stay sober and just make it to another day? That's what we're going to tap into today. And I definitely use the 24-hour plan in my life. And hopefully after hearing this, you guys will be willing to give it a try if you need it. It's definitely something that I know for sure that works, because I used it, like I said, and we're going to read through it and be able to chime in. Let me share this for a couple of people that hit me and asked me when I come on to share it with them, to let them know that I was going live. I shared it with those sisters. Now let's get started. First, I want to ask how everybody doing tonight. I hope everybody's enjoying themselves out there tonight. I had a very busy day. First, I went to work. Then I ran around with the kids, took them to some meetings, did some other stuff with them. Then I had to do some job work on computers. Then I had to go to the gym after work. Was in the gym for like an hour and a half, hour 45. Now I'm home. I'm about to do this podcast, and then I'm getting on Bible study. GOCC New Jersey Bible Story is lit. Anybody that want the link or want to join us tonight, just hit me up in my DM and I'll send you the link tonight so you can come on to our Bible study. All right, let's get started. It says, using the 24-hour plan. In our drinking days, we often had such bad times that we swore never again. We took pledges for as long as a year or promised someone we would not touch the stuff for 3 weeks or 3 months. And of course, we tried going on the wagon for various periods of time. We were absolutely sincere when we voiced these declarations through gritted teeth. With all our hearts, we wanted never to be drunk again. We were determined. We swore off drinking altogether, intending to stay off alcohol well into some indefinite future. He not lying. I remember those days, waking up last night. You was throwing up, and waking up in the morning telling yourself you're never gonna drink again. But soon as time passed and you forgot about the pain that night brought you, we was right back to drinking again. But I definitely remember swearing off, saying I'm a New Year's resolutions. This Christmas is gonna be the last one. This New Year is gonna be the last one. This Friday is gonna be the last one. I'm starting fresh on Monday. I remember doing all that stuff. And then when the next week came, back already drinking again. Couldn't even do a week. So none of that stuff ever mattered. Some of us said, yet, in spite of our intentions, the outcome was almost inevitable the same. Eventually, the memory of the vows and of the suffering that led to them faded. We drank again, and we wound up in more trouble. Our dry forever had not lasted very long. Some of us took some pledges, had a private reservation. Some of us who took pledges had a private reservation. We told ourselves that the promise not to drink applied only to hard stuff, not to beer and wine. And that way we learned, if we did not already know it, that beer and wine could get us drunk too. We just had to drink more of them to get the same effect we got from the distilled spirits. Wow, I definitely remember doing that. changing from beer to wine and trying to say I'm not drinking no hard stuff, but you know how it go. We still end up picking up all the hard stuff. We wind up as stoned on beer or wine as we had been before on the hard stuff. Yes, others of us did give up alcohol completely, and we did keep our pledges exactly as promised until the time was up. Then we ended the drought by drinking again, and we soon right back in trouble with an additional load of new guilt and remorse. With such struggles behind us now in AA, we try to avoid the expressions on the wagon or taking the pledge. They remind us of our failures. Although we realize that alcoholism is a permanent, irreversible condition, our experience has taught us to make no long-term promises about staying sober. We have found it more realistic and more successful to say, I am not taking a drink for today. Even if we drink, even if we drank yesterday, we can plan not to drink today. We may drink tomorrow. Who knows whether we will even be alive then? But for this 24 hours, we decide not to drink. No matter what the temptation or provocation, we determine to get any extreme necessary to avoid a drink today. Now, just think about that. The tough part about being in alcoholism is once you try to get sober, you might get a day or two, and then you tell yourself, I don't know if I could do this forever. And then when we think about trying to do anything forever, it seems like it's too long. So then we just say, you know what? I'm just doing this for today. Just focus on trying to get it done today. Don't think about that I got to do this forever. I just got to do this for 24 hours. Hit you a meeting, get you some rest, go to the gym after you get off work. Next thing you know, it's time to go to sleep and you got the 24 hours done. Just try to focus on getting it done for 24 hours. Don't think about that you got to do it for a whole week or a month or a year, because then you're going to feel overwhelmed and then you're just going to want to drink again. Just think about not drinking or not picking up any drugs for just 24 hours and start off like that. If the desire to drink is really strong, many of us would chop the 24 hours into smaller parts. We decide not to drink for, say, at least 1 hour. We can endure the temporary discomfort of not drinking for just 1 more hour, then 1 more hour, and so on. Many of us began our recovery in just this way. In fact, every recovery alcoholism began with 1 sober hour. They not lying, because sometimes you'll feel overwhelmed in just a day. Just try to get through that hour. Because just remember, before when we was drinking, we couldn't even get no time sober. So now just try to get through that hour, then get through another hour, then get through another hour, and then those hours will start to add up. That's how difficult this thing can be when you try to bombard yourself with, I got to do this for this amount of time and that amount of time. Break it down and try to keep it as simple as possible. I just want to get through this period of time right here, an hour this day, an hour, and then another hour. The next thing you know, you got 24 hours in a day. The next drink will be available. It says, one version of this is simply postponing the next drink. How about it? Still sipping soda? Have you really postponed that drink we mentioned on page 1? If so, this can be the beginning of your recovery. The next drink will be available later, but right now, we postpone taking it for at least the present day or moment. Say for the rest of this page. The 24-hour plan is very flexible. We can start it afresh at any time, wherever we are, at home, at work, in a bar, or in a hospital room, at 4 o'clock p.m. or 3 o'clock a.m. We can decide right then not to take a drink during the forthcoming 24 hours or even 5 minutes. Continually renew this plan avoids the weakness of such methods as going on a wagon or taking a pledge. A period on a wagon and a pledge both eventually came as planned to an end. So we felt free to drink again. But today is always here. Life is daily. Today is all we have. And anybody can go one day without drinking. That's all we got to concentrate on if you out there struggling. Just try to get it where you're not doing this for one day. Literally take this one day at a time. And I know that used to be a cliche back in the day when everybody said one day at a time. But when you're dealing in recovery, this is real. Really only concentrate on doing this one day at a time and it'll work. First, we have to try living in the now and just in order to stay sober, and it works. Once the idea has become a part of our thinking, we find that living life in 24-hour segments is an effective and satisfying way to handle many others as well. And they're not lying because I bear witness to this 24-hour plan. I remember back in, I want to say 2020, around 2020, 2021. I think it was the summer of 2020. Um, and I was working at a rehab in PA, and it was in July. I never forget. It was around July 15th or something like that. And I had the strong urge to drink while I was at work. And I had never felt this urge like this to drink while I was at work. And then I was like, man, I'm about to leave work right now, go to the bar and get me something to drink. That's how crazy I was acting. I was already in sobriety, but for some reason, I just really, really, really wanted to drink. So I did what we are told to do. I called my sponsor and he answered the phone and we talking on the phone. And my sponsor said, I want you to think about what might be going on around this time that's really driving you to want to drink. And at that time, I remember that Jonelle's birthday was coming up. And I told him. And it was that's when I really learned that my body had already been through so much trauma that my body was used to drinking around that time. So my body was urging a drink that I usually be taking around that time of the year. So he told me what to do. He said, I want you to write down everything that's going to happen after you take this drink. What's going to be the consequences of everything that's going to happen? Write everything out. Don't leave nothing in your head. Don't say, I understand this, but I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to put it on paper. Put everything on paper that you think is going to happen. Then he said, I want you to go to a meeting, even if you got to take your clients to the meeting, and I want you to share everything you put on that paper. Then he said, after work, I want you to hit another meeting and do the same thing. And then he said, one of the key things that helped me, he said, remember, all you got to do is make it home tonight and go to sleep. And tomorrow you're not going to feel like this. And once he said that, it was like, and I thought about it, all the stress and everything came up off me. All the anxiety came up off me because he narrowed it down to just getting through today. All I needed to do was just get through today and everything would be all right. So I did exactly what he told me to do. And I never forgot that lesson that he taught me that day. So anytime I'm feeling like this, anytime I'm feeling stressed, because no matter how much time you have, you can get hit with that time where you want to pick up a drink. So no matter how much time I have, I know that this is capable of happening to me, that I can have that feeling that overwhelms me, that make me want to have a drink. And I always think all I got to do is make it to sleep tonight. And tomorrow when I wake up, I'm not going to feel this same pain, this same anxiety no more, and I'll be all right. The second time this happened to me was at Doc's funeral. I went to Doc's funeral and I broke down. It hit me hard. Like, if anybody know us, you know, we was like brothers and we was together like every day. So seeing my bro in that casket, it just rocked me. Like, it was a pain that I haven't felt in a long time. And I didn't want to drink, but I wanted to smoke. And I had not smoked in a long time. I wanted to smoke Black and Mild so hard. I know for some people they like, oh, here you go, that ain't nothing. But to me, it was a challenge, and it was a definitely accomplishment when the Most High took the craving of the Black and Mild out of my mouth. So, and I used the same principles that my sponsor had told me. He told me, he said, just make it home tonight without doing it and go to sleep, and you ain't gonna have to worry about it in the morning when you wake up. The feeling is gonna go away. And that's what got me through that day from not smoking, by making it home that day without picking up that Black and Mild. And that's what got me through the drinking with Jonelle, that 24 hours. So when we feeling overwhelmed, when we feeling like This is too much. I can't go on with this. So if you out there in sobriety and you having a rough day, and we are going to have those rough days when we dealing with sobriety, just tell yourself, all I have to do is get through today. I don't have to worry about tomorrow. I don't have to worry about next week. All I got to do is get through the next 24 hours. And once I get through these next 24 hours, tomorrow I'm going to feel different. So that's the message of today. Use the 24-hour plan. It gets you through over and over again. And that's what I do when I wake up every day. I ask God to keep me sober for this day. And I understand I just got to get through today. I don't worry about next week. I don't worry about none of that. And in closing, I remember I heard a guy say that he lost his sobriety because he started counting the years and he forgot to count the days. And that was deep. And I took that with me out of that meeting. And I understand that I got to stay in the present, and I got to understand that it's just for the day that I have. That my that where I'm at spiritually, if I'm in a strong spiritual place, it would get me through that day. But it don't get. I can't carry my sobriety from one day into the next day. That next day start, and I got to do the same thing I did the day before to make sure I get it through another day. That's how it is with this war on alcohol and drugs. When you're trying to fight this war and make it through without picking up a drink or picking up a drug. This Mike. Enjoy the rest of your day tonight. Shalom.